Today, I will share with you 3 practices that helped me overcome my own fear of being seen and perceived, and will help you start living from a space of confidence and calm so you can actually move towards the life you dream of creating for yourself. So, you see, a confident woman, in my opinion, has 3 key things: one, a clear vision; second, a clear knowing of who she is; and third, a clear ability to master herself and maintain her alignment with her vision. So, an ability to stay on track. Now, if you are currently feeling resistance as you're pivoting your career or moving into a new direction, or perhaps you're stepping into a whole bolder level of your life and you're noticing how past triggers and mindset are coming up, trying to keep you where you are, it is time to break through. And the first, most powerful way to do that is to feel worthy of that next level. And often that comes with embracing ourselves in a new level and feeling okay being seen at that new level. Because when we build a certain level of comfort in our life, whether it is with our surroundings, our current followings, our current clientele, maybe it starts feeling really safe. It feels safe to be here. It feels safe to be seen with the people we welcomed in our life. But when we go to somewhere new, it's all unknown. We don't know who will be there. We don't know the judgments we might face. And we don't know how scary it can feel for our body to put ourselves in a position to potentially publicly fail. Most of my clients, when they start working with me, they have 2 fears. One is the fear of failure, and one is the fear of judgment. One of them is entangled with the other because you see, when we fear failing, it's not often just a failure to ourselves and our own judgment, but also being perceived in that failure or judged by people we love that is creating that bigger sense of fear. So, if you're moving to the next level now, and the way to work through that fear of being seen, which you might have noticed by resistance on posting on social media, overthinking conversations you've had, a feeling like you're not willing to take different actions than the ones that led you here, or perhaps it's simply a sense of discomfort in the life you currently live. You feel as though the life you live isn't the one you're meant to live. Like it just doesn't feel like it's where you're meant to be anymore. And even though we are always exactly where we are meant to be, when we are in a season of change, there is these moments of realization sometimes that feel just so strikingly true, where we just know it's time. It is time to rise up to the life we're here to create. It is time to rise up to our potential. It is time to expand our field of impact, our field of influence, our field of potential. Because the more we step into our potential, the more we allow our potential to unfold. And that means the more we give ourselves permission to truly craft a life that is a full extension of who we innately are. Because you have a unique set of desires, you have a unique set of wants and needs and abilities and skills, and you have a unique voice. And all of you is what, in a way, needs to be allowed to be perceived for you to truly welcome and embrace that you desire to call in. So, how do we move from fear to confidence in being seen, in being perceived as we are? In a way, we can translate this in authenticity, or perhaps embracing what we currently keep for ourselves. How many people say to me when I meet them, I feel like I have so much potential. I feel like I'm not tapping into it at all. Maybe this is you. When that is the case, it's often also a distance between how we know we have, what we know we have inside of us, what we know we're here to offer, and what we know we could give the world and ourselves. Because whenever we step into service, we don't just give the world our voice, our gift, our speaking, our writing, our genius, our company, our business. We give to ourselves because at every level of service to other, we also give to ourselves in a deeper, more meaningful, more loving way. And so if you feel right now like you're not getting enough, you can ask yourself, am I giving myself enough? And that brings us to our first step of allowing ourselves to be seen. And it is to seeing ourselves in all that we are with honesty. And I mean, sitting with ourselves and embracing ourselves in a deeper, more meaningful way, practicing self love, telling ourselves when we look into the mirror, I see you. Truly, I see you. I see all that you are. I see your light. I see your beauty. I see your skills. I see your gift. I see you. And writing and journaling all the ways in which we are noticing what is within, what is ready to be offered the world and ourselves. One of the first steps I give people that are kind of reconnecting with that part of self-love, of accepting all that they are, is journaling on one, all that they want to nourish themselves with, all that they want to gift themselves. So if I was to give you now infinite money and infinite possibilities, and I was to remove all apparent obstacle in your reality right now, like how would you nourish yourself? Would you move to a different house? Would you live by the beach? Would you wake up later or wake up earlier so you have time to do your workouts? Would you do workout and work on your health and fitness? Would you honor your body and nourish it the way that it's craving to be nourished? Would you take time to relax and be away from the phone after 4 p.m. every night? If you were to truly love yourself and nourish yourself to the fullest level and gift yourself the reality and the body that is truly conducive of you expressing your full potential, what would that look like? Maybe there are dormant skills in you right now you have been neglecting. Maybe there are dormant needs and wants in you of expression you've been neglecting. If you want to be a speaker, you want to be a writer, have you been speaking? Have you been writing? These are all the ways in which you give yourself. This has nothing to do even with your purpose or what you're giving the world. It is what you give yourself. What do you gift yourself when you're fully embracing your full potential and loving yourself to the level at which you can stretch yourself to be loved? Because so far, the life you live, what you've given to yourself so far, is a glimpse of the level of love you can truly give yourself. And so that is what I want you to first write down. How can I love myself truly, fully? By gifting myself time to work on my skills, time to nourish my body in the way it wants to be nourished, time to live in a location that actually supports what I need and my desires in this season. Maybe it's friendship, maybe it's expression, maybe it's opportunities around you, or maybe it's quiet in nature. But if you truly loved yourself to the fullest, what would you gift yourself? And so that's kind of a list of gifts from you to you. And that is one way to truly see yourself in all your dimensions and write it down with certainty. I honor myself by gifting myself early nights. I honor myself and I love myself by moving to a beach town. I honor myself and I love myself by speaking every day and practicing that speech that I've been meaning to speak on stage for years, by starting finally to write that book. How do you honor and love yourself? That is the first step. And then the second step is, if you were to honor your gift and remove all the clutter around all the things you think you need to do because you're good at, even though they're not truly your genius, your purpose, your fullest energetic alignment. And that is where we enter active purpose in alignment with what is energizing. When I work with clients, one of the first thing I do is really noticing all the things they do and all the ways in which they are close to their purpose, but in a way that is actually draining or costing them a lot of energy. I see it a lot with, let's say, an artist that is actually thriving painting on a canvas, but has made a living now as a graphic designer. It's close enough, it is art, it is artistic, but it isn't their truest medium of expression. Yet their truest medium of expression, which would be painting on canvas and selling in galleries or traveling the world with their art, is too scary. It's too scary to be seen in that light. It's too scary to be seen in that way. And that is why the first area of expansion to actually allow ourselves to be seen is to realize, okay, if I actually removed my fear for a minute, just for a minute, just hypothetically on this paper, and I had no preoccupation, no worries about resources, money, time, constraint, family, friends, partnership. Remember, we removed that before the exercise today. What would I actually do with my time here on earth? How would I actually contribute to the world and honor my light and what I uniquely am coded to do? What you do that feels like hours could go by and you wouldn't notice? What would you do if it was up to you? That's the question here. What would I gift myself is part one. And what would I do is part two. What would I do if it was truly up to me? And I want you to notice now, and maybe you haven't done a lot of exploration on this, or you've been in denial for a lot of years, and you might need one-on-one support, so feel free to reach out. But that is a key right here. Because if we can be honest with ourselves and the parts of our day that are actually lighting us up, the parts of our day we're actually keeping for the end, or putting aside or deprioritizing because it feels too good to be true, like that's often a big key on your purpose and your genius and where your most abundant path, most expanding path lies. The path where you would actually get to be seen in your most vulnerable. And that right here is why pretty much everyone doesn't go there. How scary is it to be seen in what for us feels easiest, most authentic, most true? That's a vulnerable space right here. And if you can be honest with that vulnerable space, and I'm not even talking about going there, but writing it down, just sitting with yourself and being honest, writing all the things that are not making you thrive, that are not aligned with you, that are costing you energy, that are making you feel depleted, upset, frustrated, or tired, writing them down, and then writing down with honesty. What is it that lights me up truly to do? What is it that feels like it would be too good to be true if I was actually to do this full time or do this for a living or be paid to do this or actually remove everything else that has come into my life as a distraction, let's be honest, and actually focus on what's true for me and actually dare to believe that I get to do this. And that if it is part of my skill set and it is part of my genius and it is part of my purpose, I get to do this. And that often is a very surprising revelation. But let it be just that for today, a revelation. It already will open you up and unfold into the next layer of being okay being seen. So just repeating our step one again, journaling practice. One, what would you gift yourself? And what would you gift the world? Journal on those and see what insights and revelation already come, because your intuition has been speaking to you for years, trying to tell you things. And that might just be the thing that creates that mirror and reflects to you that truth that you need to listen to your intuition. It already has the guidance and the next steps for you. So listen, witness, and listen. And whenever you meet yourself in the mirror, tell yourself, I see you. That is not a practice. That's just a little tip. It really helps. Now, our second step to overcoming our fear of being seen is practicing let it go. Post and let it go. Create and let it go. And what that means is we want to literally practice removing the distance between creation and posting, sharing, or gifting that creation to the world. Because I hear it all the times. How do you have time, to create so much content? But when I work with my clients, I know what's going on. Maybe they'll write a post, it's going to take 5 minutes. But then there's going to be 8 hours of languish and overwhelm to actually post it, or overthinking it and rewriting it, letting it be sitting dormant in a computer and never to be posted ever because of that overthinking. And that is just one example out of many you've most likely seen yourself do. The creation itself isn't the biggest process here when we're fearing of being seen in our light, in our vulnerability, in our truth. The creation is one thing, and we can talk about this at length in another video. But most of the time, it's the overthinking, the overwhelm, and the overanalyzing all possible options that creates that huge pressure that stops us from being seen altogether. And so one of the practice I give my clients when we work on this is make it a 5-minute timer, 10-minute timer, or 30 minutes timer. Choose a time. There's no better or worse, but if you usually take 4 hours to complete posting, scheduling, sharing with the world something, or taking that action that lets your thing be seen, whatever that thing is, your writing, your words, your speaking, your singing, whatever that is, choose a time. And for an entire month, you gotta post it before the timer runs off. So whenever you notice you are in that action of I'm about to share it with the world, whether it's on social media or in your private platform or in person, I have that time, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, or an hour. Honestly, it doesn't matter how long you choose, but you gotta respect it. And the challenge is I have to post it and let it go no matter what state it is in by the time the timer runs out. And so what that might create is incomplete posts you would have tweaked and maybe changed, posts you would have not posted because they were not perfect. And right here we practice our perfectionism, our overthinking, our overanalyzing, and we give ourselves permission to let things be done that are not fully done, because the truth is it's never done, it's never perfect, it's never finished. We could always tweak, we could always adjust, but you're not giving yourself a chance to grow because you're resisting to grow. Growing means we don't do it perfectly again and again and again and again and again. And we embrace letting it exist for others to be received and not getting entangled with what this means for us. Can I just let it be and move on with my life, move on to the next thing, move on to my flow? Can I let it exist and practice non-judgment so I don't judge it, and I let it be something that could be valuable for someone else? Because the most draft version you could ever create could be the biggest breakthrough of someone else. And so as much as you're resisting sharing your art or your work or your words or your craft because you want it to be a certain level so it truly has the impact you want it to have, you're stopping hundreds, thousands, or even one person from having a breakthrough from the draft version of what you're putting out. Because our energy is the true transmission here. You can think all you want, it's the perfect edit, the perfect words, the perfect picture, the perfect spoken, eloquent version. But it's not that. It's your energy. That's what's truly coming true. And so whenever you put your energy out, you're doing your work here. You're getting more aligned with your purpose and you're having impact, whether you see it or not, whether nobody sees the post or not. There's always one person somewhere, somehow, that's going to receive that day and needed it. I still remember years ago, I made a YouTube video and I think everything failed. The light, the edit, it was horrible. And I considered, should I post it or not, when I was still in that stage where I would consider if I post it or not. And I ended up posting it. I think it got 17 views. Yet, one person reached out that day and said, I so needed this today. You don't know how much I needed that video when it came out. Had I not shared it because it wasn't the way I wanted it to be, that person wouldn't have had this breakthrough that day. And see, even that video, I started kind of jumbled. I haven't had my coffee and breakfast yet. I'm hungry. And I was a little bit disjointed in my thoughts and I picked up my flow later. I'll let it be. Why would I care? It is not perfect because you might need that message today. And so the practice of letting it go, letting it exist, letting it be, and choosing that timer, and I recommend 5 minutes. When I work with clients one-on-one, I often choose 5 minutes because it's fun. It's slightly stressful, but it's really liberating to just be like, whatever. It's out now. It is out of my hands, out of my control. It exists in the world and it is not for me to judge. I let it be. I did my work. I put it out. I'm practicing releasing the fear of perfectionism and getting so entangled with what it could become without giving myself the 10 years I need to let it actually become what it needs to become, because the version that you're thinking of making, you can't make it now. You can't. It is a version that exists maybe in 10 years when you've actually done the work for 10 years repeatedly, but you can't do it now. So let it go. Let it be. Let it exist. And so that is our second practice of overcoming a fear of being seen, and it is letting it go with a timer, repeatedly, ideally every day, to increase that feedback loop. And our third practice for today, even though I could have hundreds of practices for you since I've done this work for years and years and years with clients at different stages of their expression, our third practice is reconnecting with our voice. And that is my favorite morning practice ever that I give every single person I work with. And it is putting on a timer on your phone of 2 minutes every morning when you wake up for an entire week, and out loud for 2 minutes speaking out your dreams, connecting with that vision that lights you up and ignites you. Because I told you at the beginning of this video, a confident woman is someone that sees where she's going, knows who she is, and has the ability to stay on track by connecting to her intuition and leaping on those inspired action, creating momentum, creating motion. And reconnecting with our voice and letting it be spoken out loud is so powerful. So many of you have never said your dreams out loud. I'm sure some of them have never been spoken, or never in the true way, their true form, the true version of it that makes you fear somebody would judge you for it. And the first step in allowing ourselves to be seen is to start seeing ourselves deeply and our voice fully in its expression, in its dreams. And in that process, what you'll notice is every day I want you to go a little bit bolder, a little bit bigger, a little bit wilder. And so you start day one, you speak for 2 minutes, you might feel blank, you might feel confused, you might not love the voice you hear, you might feel like you didn't say anything good, or maybe you'll feel like it was too short. Wherever you are, there will be a different experience of that first day. But you let it be. The next day, you do it again. The idea isn't to record this or to analyze it to the end of time until you realize what happened. The idea is to practice every day, speaking out loud and hearing your voice and recording your voice, even if it's just for you, and going bolder every day. And by the end of the week, if you were to listen back, you'll notice common things in your dreams every day, but also a growth already in your boldness, in your expression, in your ability to eloquently express your dreams and desires. Because if I ask you right now, if we were on a call together this minute and I said, what's your dream? And I give you 2 minutes to speak out loud, you might go to the surface, maybe a couple of things that have been on your mind lately. But the more you do it, the more you meet yourself in your truth, the more you hear your true voice, the true voice of your true purpose and path of what you're here to do, what you're here to create. But if you don't speak it out loud, you never give it a chance to have a voice. And if we do not voice our dreams and desires, at least to ourselves, we stay in that perceived lack of clarity. But I'll be honest with you, I have pretty much never met someone that doesn't have clarity on their dreams. We think we don't know what we want. We think we don't know where we're going. We think we feel lost. No, we're just not meeting ourselves with honesty. We're not listening to what's already here. Speak it out loud every day for a week and let me know how bolder and clear you perceive your own dreams. And again, because you see yourself, you will stop allowing slowly more and more people to also see you. Now, I hope you enjoy this week of exercises to overcome the fear of being seen. If you want direct support to really step into your next level and tap into your dreams, feel free to reach out and have a conversation with me to see how my programs could support you. And I thank you for being here today, daring to be bolder, more confident, and be the kind of person that creates a life that's truly aligned to your essence. See you soon.